You see, in order for somebody to fall in love, they need to feel validated. They need to feel like their self-esteem has risen as a result of you. And also, they should feel that if they lose you, their self-esteem will plummet. It is an unconscious part. If you really think about it, this is what most people think when they're in love. They feel the high when they're around you, and they feel a low when they're around you. If they don't feel a low when they're around you, they don't fully love you. If they only feel a high when they're around you, they're just using you for validation, and it is not real love. Real love, I feel, in my opinion, has both sides of the same coin. So we're going to talk about how to validate a guy without inflating his ego too much, because sometimes when you inflate a guy's ego too much, he starts to stop making effort. He starts to pull away, and you end up chasing more because you can sense his coldness, right? Understand this. Use this. The strategy that I'm going to teach, use it at first when you meet a guy, right? When you're first meeting a guy, you want to give him some form of validation. I'm going to tell you how. It's kind of interesting. And the second thing is use this also when he's being consistent. So if you see in this man, he's your boyfriend or whatever, only you use the strategy when he's being consistent. Don't not use the strategy when he's being inconsistent, because we all know when a guy's inconsistent, you pretty much become inconsistent yourself. So the way to not validate a guy is this, okay? I'm gonna tell you the wrong way to do it. Chasing with him being inconsistent. Validating him when he's being inconsistent. Asking, for example, he treats you like shit, he's cold with you, and yet you buy him a birthday gift. Or yet you invite him to go on vacation. And yet you do things for him despite him being cold with you. Right? In other words, you try to buy his love. You try to gain his attention despite him being cold. That kind of stuff boosts his ego. That kind of stuff makes a guy not respect you. That's not the kind of validation that I'm talking about. Right? What you want to do is only when he's consistent, you use this. Only when he's consistent. You do not use this to buy his love. You do not use this to make him like you. You use pain to create consistency. But you use the validation to keep him there. You see what I'm saying? It's the validation that keeps him there, that keeps him coming back. It's the honey to the bear. It's what makes him return to you, right? But it only happens if he's behaving properly for the most part. So how do you do it? One, sometimes just saying yes to seeing him, right? Literally just being there, like just being there. Being right there is enough for a guy, right? Sometimes you don't need to do much, because when he's the one that has to be focusing on validating you, right? You saying yes to seeing him, you saying yes to going out on a date with him, you kissing him, you being there is the validation. Because a guy that likes you, with you just being there, he feels pride. He should feel pride. He walks around with you with pride. If a guy does not walk around with pride next to you, what you got to do is pull away, right? Or put him in a sexually competitive state, which you know what, I'm going to include in this video. You guys are going to see it right now. So the first thing is this: increase your social circle, right? The simplest way to get your man in a sexually competitive state is to increase your social circle, because by increasing your social circle, you increase the amount of guys in your life. Simple. It's that simple. The more friends you have, the more potential it is that you might find somebody else, right? This is the thing, is that you have to be committed to your guy, and you have to have someone, you have to be known as someone who's faithful. If you have a bad reputation, you cheated at home, you guys are in a bumpy road in your relationship in terms of negativity, then you know what, you may not want to do this. You want to do this, but at the same time, you may not want to do this for the emphasis of getting him to be jealous with you or sexually competitive. So by simply increasing your social circle, you put him in that state because he says, fuck, she's meeting new friends. So something you could do is like, for example, like doing improv comedy, or start going to yoga class, or anything that increases your circle. So you got to find out whatever you find interesting. So for example, attend a meetup group, meetup.com. You'll be able to see meetup groups that have a whole bunch of different events going on with people who have similar interests, and you'll be able to find new friends there. By simply making new friends, you put them in that state, because guess what? You have more time for them. You want to hang out with your new friends. You have activities. You start telling your man about this new friend you have. By simply doing that and having the reputation of someone who's faithful and someone who wouldn't cheat on their boyfriend, the guy will say, fuck, what? New friends? Shit. He'll want to meet the friends. This happens, man. I'm telling you, man, this shit happens to me.
And it happens to every guy I know, all right? When a girl gets more friends, a guy's gonna be like, eyeing, man. I'm telling you, all right? Make sure that your guy's not a narcissistic, jealous prick, all right? So just keep that in mind, or else this can easily backfire. The last one is insinuation. This one works, okay? And I'll tell you how, all right? Insinuation is when you suggest when you subtly suggest something, right? For example, and this happened to me because it worked on me. The last girl I talked to many years ago, I only had one girlfriend in my whole life. Two girlfriends, but the one didn't know I was her boyfriend. Right? You were like, oh man, this is kind of creepy. Having girlfriends, and they don't know. Anyways, so she told me that she loved guys who her ex was very muscular, right? Her ex worked out, and she would tell me, oh man, I love guys who are muscular. I love muscles, but you don't have to work out. I'm just saying, I love guys who are muscular. And I'm like, this bitch. I'm like, clearly she knows I don't have muscles, right? But you know what happened? It made me start going to the gym. And not just working out. When I was working out, you know who I was thinking of? Her. I was like, fuck that shit, man. I gotta make her like me, right? And I'm telling you, that shit went on for years, man. For 2 years, that was in my mind. Just because I liked her and she let me know that I didn't meet up. So it's simple. Just insinuate something he doesn't have. If he's skinny, just say, oh man, I love guys who are big. My last guy that I was talking to, he was so muscular, man. I just fucking love that, right? By simply do, and then tell him, by the way, I'm not telling him about you. I'm not telling you to do it, but I'm saying that I like it. When you do that, you kind of take it from him, which is to say, he's gonna say, I don't care if you don't mind. I mind. I want to do this for me, right? Because if you tell him in a way that you telling him to do it, he'll say she's trying to change me. So you got to make it seem like, no, I don't want you to do it, but I'm just saying what I like, right? And then change the topic. Another thing that you could do is, for example, I say this a lot. If he's dark skinned, talk about how you love guys who look like Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, I love guys who look like Leonardo DiCaprio. They're so masculine, right? And then change the topic, right? When you do that, if he's dark skinned like me, right, and you tell him that, a couple days later, he's going to say, man, what? Like, he's gonna start feeling that he kind of lacks your validation. So you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna work to become this person that you find attractive. Now, of course, he's not gonna bleach his skin. He's not Sammy Sosa, but he's gonna find ways to up his value per se relative to other men, right? So it's simply insinuating that he's not enough, right? For example, if you're, let's say you're someone who's lazy, right? I'd be like, man, I love girls who are so ambitious. Like, I just find that so attractive. Anyways, and change the topic, right? If you clearly know that you're not ambitious, right? And I told you in the past, I love that you just chilled and you don't mind just chilling at home. You're gonna feel that insecurity. It's just natural to do that. You know, it's human nature. But the beauty about this is that this insecurity is going to be, it's always going to be transmuted into attraction or into the need to get validation from you. It's a very simple way to get them to come back to you, right? So again, very simple tactics, man.
Right? As you guys can see, right? So that's one thing. The next thing is speaking to him in a way that makes him feel like he's the star of the show. When you're on a date with a guy, stop trying to impress him with your words. Try to just listen as much as possible. Find out why he does the things that he does. Rather than finding out that he studies basketball or that he's a scientist, ask, why are you a scientist? What inspired you to be a scientist? Get at the core of it. Ask why. Just keep asking. Why did he decide to move to California and not to Denver, to another country? Why did he decide to travel to South America? Ask the person's why as much and listen. Pay attention. Make eye contact. Let him talk about himself as much as possible. From time to time, if you feel like you're asking too many questions, say, "Oh yeah, you moved to California from Canada. That's what's up. I actually did that. I moved from Florida to LA simply because I felt it was actually more of this or more of that." Now let me ask you this: why did you decide to go there and not here? Give short answers to your whys when you're asking him, in order to relate and in order to not make it feel like it's an interview question. And then ask him why. What's gonna happen is that any guy that likes you is gonna go into a long story. What you want to be able to do is find out his strengths and what makes him unique, what makes him strong, but also what makes him weak. What are his weaknesses, right? Get him to ask what was the toughest moment in your life? What were the best moments in your life? If you could go somewhere, where would you go and why, right? Get to the core of who he is, because when people talk about themselves, and when people are noticing that somebody's asking them questions about themselves and that they actually like back, they feel validated. Ask him questions that makes him feel like he's the man. So if he studied for 3 years and he got his master's degree, say, man, that's incredible, man. That is very difficult. Most guys that I meet will never do something like that. Make him feel unique. Ask questions to find out, how does he see himself? Does he see himself as a smart person? Does he see himself as a street smart person? Does he see himself as an athlete? And what you want to do then is gear all of your compliments, all of your attention, the whole focus of the conversation towards that direction. For example, if a woman gets me to talk about Leonardo da Vinci, I'm going to talk about him all day long. And I'm going to end up leaving the conversation as though she was the interesting one. So many times I've applied this, and because it's just listening, people. Like, seriously, you just shut the fuck up. You be quiet. You let them talk. You don't interrupt, and you just let people talk. Let them talk. Let them talk. That validates them. Most people never feel heard. Most people never get undivided attention. It's addictive. Most people only had that type of attention from their parents. Now they meet a stranger. They meet a person who lets them talk all day, compliments them based on their strengths, right? Finds out what their weaknesses are and finds a way to strengthen those weaknesses or even validate those weaknesses. For example, you find out maybe he feels like he's a victim of racism. Even if you don't believe in racism, you say, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's really tough. Man, you're totally right. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, every white man is bad. Yeah, of course. You validate them. If you find out, this is true, if you find out he supports Biden, you tell him how you support Biden. Or even better, if you don't support Biden as an example, you just find a way to agree with him. Or you find a way to say, you know what, I never thought about it that way. Don't get argumentative. If he supports Trump and you find him attractive, don't get argumentative. Validate his self-opinion. Make him feel that he made the right choice. Or better yet, disagree with him a little bit. And then make him feel like he actually convinced you. That validates people. It validates their self-opinion, that they know what they're talking about. Never argue with a guy or anybody. Let them feel that they're right or that they change your opinion because of their arguments. Those things makes people feel validated. It makes them want to return to you. So find out what are their, and also never make an opinion about something first. Ask them what are their opinions about something. For example, if I feel like I'm in Europe and a lot of people don't like America, I'd be like, if I ask them, so what do you think of? So if I ask them, rather than saying yeah, America's great, I ask them, quick question, what do you think of America? Or if I ask them about politics, right? And I don't want to get into an argument, I find out, so what do you think of Biden? And I feel what they feel about that, and then I go in the conversation and try to find a way to validate them as much as possible. Look, people, I know some people might think it's fake, but it's not fake. Because what you want to get through those superficial things, you want to get them to feel comfortable. Because what happens is that you can actually make them change their minds. Or better yet, in this topic, they'll end up liking you more because you actually make them feel like what their choices in life is actually correct. Because most people never get that. Most people, when they talk to people, they usually just want to talk. They never really listen. And whenever you find somebody that actually listens, you can feel it in your body. It's different, right? So don't talk, right? If you're gonna ask a question, if you're gonna keep asking questions, just make sure to always, for example, like I said earlier, because sometimes it can come across as an interview. What I do is, like I said before, I just want to make sure you guys get this point across. If I keep asking questions after like 3 questions I ask, I'll say, oh, okay, so you believe, okay, so you like architecture. Okay, well, you know what? My favorite artist is Leonardo da Vinci. He was actually one of the best. He was actually a really good architect, and that's why I admire architecture, right? But let me ask you this. What made you want to be an architect? Was like if dad or mom, like what got you into it? Rather than me just saying, so what got you into architect? I relate to it with a passion of mine. It may be completely unrelated. It could be that, oh yeah, I love New York City because New York City has amazing architect. The way it looks and so historic, it's amazing. What do you think of architect? Right? Or what got you into it? Or another example of how to avoid arguments. Like for example, I hate modern day architecture, right? But before I tell a girl that I hate modern day architecture, I ask them, so quick question. What do you think of modern day architecture? If they like modern day architecture, I'll try to see what they see. I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. I won't try to put my opinion on it. I'll say, oh, that's very interesting. I never thought about it that way because I usually see it as boring, but the way you're describing it makes a lot of sense. Why do you think most people think it's boring? Like why do you think people have this wrong view of it? Because I already know they think that the opposite. People who think that modern architecture is boring, I already know that. So what I try to do, I try to find out what do they think about a subject, right? And then I'll say it with my words. So for example, if I know somebody hates modern photography, right? And I could tell because they'll say like, oh yeah, I don't like modern photography. I'll be like, so yeah, why do you think most people like modern photography? Because I'll be honest with you, from what I've seen, modern photography just feels a little bit more lazy than old school photography. Why do I say that? Because I know deep down that if they don't like it, they may think it's boring. So I'm kind of finding a way to tell them what they think. People, this type of stuff makes people feel like they've known you for years. I am telling you when I say this to you. Most people never experience this type of validation. If you make a guy feel like he's the shit, if he sees himself as a ladies man, you try to find a way to validate that. But because this is a key, it's very important. What you're gonna do after the date or after that meeting, you're gonna pull away. You're gonna pull away your charm. You're gonna be a little bit more busy. You're gonna be a little bit more cold. They're not gonna see that side, that super interested side of you, right? Because you're not just validating him. It's very important to understand that, right? Don't just validate him. After a deep and intense validation, pull away. Because deep down, they'll think, wow, this person likes me. And I showed off to her how interesting I was. And he feels self-assured that how cool he is, that how awesome he is made you like him. But in reality, now you're going to pull away and make him doubt it now. That's how they begin to chase, right? You validate their self-opinion and then you pull away, right? Most women just validate and keep validating and never give the person space to crystallize how they see you in their minds.
All right, so if you're a nice girl, if you're tired of being played, if you're tired of people not respecting you, if you resent that people don't take you seriously, if people just see you as a sex object, if you feel like people are always playing you, I would highly recommend you check out this course called Nice Girl. I rarely put out courses, and every one of my courses is a specific purpose. Psychological game of attraction was for single people. Natural chemistry was for women in relationships. This course is for specific nice girls. Now, most of you guys are nice. Most of you guys have great hearts. Unfortunately, men take advantage of you. So I have this limited time course. Specifically, you guys can only buy it and get access to it July and November. Now, if you purchase it in July or November, you could have access to it all year round. But you could only purchase it July and November. So this month only, you guys can purchase this course. It's only for a limited time, right? So in this course, you're pretty much going to learn about how to set boundaries, how to project a powerful presence, how to create healthy boundaries, how to communicate yourself in an assertive way, how to not let people take advantage of you. Like you're gonna learn the art of how to identify those who are trying to take advantage of you, how to assert yourself, signs of weakness, signs of strength, and how to communicate signs of strength, and how to lower the signs of weakness. All of these things, I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, look, okay? If you just do what this course says, just doing what this course says is gonna improve not only your dating life, but your professional life, your personal life, your social life with your friends and family, because people will always try to test you. People will always see whether or not they can take advantage of you, even a fucking child. So by purchasing this course, you could create a healthy immune system. There are three types of immune system. There is your body's immune system. There is an emotional immune system that you increase through meditation. And then there's a social immune system that is through self-assertion.
Okay, so this course will help you build that social immune system to push away certain behaviors from your life and certain people, and by default you attract the right people. So check out that course. One, it's not okay. Look, I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's not gonna it's not gonna fix the problems 100%. I'm not here to lie to you guys. I'm here to give you realistic expectation. Okay, it's not gonna it's not gonna completely change your life from day to night. But if you do what the videos say, okay, if you're 20% not, if you're at a 20% in terms of assertiveness, by finishing this course, you could go through it 40%. Now you guys might say, where are the evidence for it? In my life only. Okay, and through people's experience, through applying these methods, and through doing research about what actually helps assertiveness. Okay, so I thoroughly researched this course. I put a lot of thought into it. It's not complete. Next month, I'm gonna add another part, which if you buy it now, you're gonna have access to it. Okay, so I'll see you guys inside that course, and stay toxic, my friends. Purchase it now, or I'm closing the channel. Okay, see you guys inside.